Hello lovelies, my name is Lovely Wings and welcome back to another video. So this video was supposed to be an aesthetically pleasing building a PC video, but my dumb ass didn't know how to make a PC. It was my first time making it and I have to say there was a lot, and I mean a lot of complications. So instead, this is going to be a little tutorial for first timers on how to actually build a PC and, a tutorial that makes sense. The tutorial I watched for my PC is from the channel TechSource, and I'm going to tell you about that tutorial later on. The recordings you see now in front of you are the recordings I was going to use for the aesthetic build PC thing, but since that's not working out, I'm just going to show them here and then play a couple of other clips while I talk about the do's and don'ts of building a PC. Ever since freshman year, maybe even longer, I have been wanting a PC of my own. I think I've stated this in a previous video before, but yes, I have always been a nerd. I started playing video games when I was about 7, maybe younger. And ever since then, I fell in love with video games and just the concept of them. And because my love for video games grew, and I also had a love for YouTubers, because I would watch the big ones like iHasCupquake, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, all the lovely ones. I just wanted my own PC. And then when I figured out that I wanted to become a YouTuber, I knew I needed to get a PC ASAP. So I started to look into PCs, and I looked at the pre-built ones and thought about getting a pre-built one. But once I started to want to have a PC, I would look up PC videos and start going down a rabbit hole of people just showing off their PCs and doing vlogs about their PCs. And then I saw vlogs about people building their own PCs. And once I saw this vlog of this girl building her PC, I knew right then and there that I wanted to build my own PC instead of buying an already built one. It took me 4 years to save up for this PC, and not gonna lie, I still have a lot of more parts to get, but at least it's runnable and it works, which I'll show you the final product at the end of the video. Also, it took me a long time to save up because I was doing this over the course of high school, my 4 years in high school, and I had to only get summer jobs. I couldn't get an actual job, and I finally clutched up with my senior year and I got a job then. So I was doing school and work, which was incredibly difficult and very tiring, but it was all worth it in the end. I will say it is my fault for jumping right into building the PC because I kinda already had a gist of what I should be doing, because again, I did look at a whole bunch of vlogs and even some tutorials along the way while I was waiting for me to save up for my PC. But I didn't know too much, so I should have looked at a tutorial, which I did when I first started building. But again, let me let you in on a couple of tips and tricks so that way you don't be dumb like I was. So first off, I want to go and say that the tutorial I watched, which I will link down below and put right here, I watched this tutorial and it was a good tutorial and it did help me a lot with most of the factors of setting up my PC. But I have to recommend for first time builders, do not do the process in the beginning. Now let me explain. In the beginning of the tutorial, he shows you how to set up the motherboard, but he also advises you to stay and plug everything in outside of the PC case instead of putting it all in there. For first-time PC builders, I strongly recommend not doing that, solely because that is the main reason why I was struggling so much on this build. If it wasn't for that part and I just skipped to where he put everything into the PC case, I probably would have been better and not have taken a day or two to make the PC itself. In other words, if you're going to use the tutorial, please just skip to where he puts the motherboard into the PC after everything has already been put inside the motherboard. It will save you a lot of time and a lot of stress. Also, make sure you do all your research because I also had to find out after I was done building the actual PC itself that I had to get a USB-C hard drive in order to download Windows 11 on that PC, and also I had to get an Ethernet cord for the Ethernet. And warning you or letting you know right now, once you download and install Windows 11 on your new PC and it says install drivers, then go to your motherboard's website and download the drivers, because it took me forever to figure that out, and I was low-key stressing because it would not let me do anything until I did the install, and then I bypassed the install drivers, and then I figured out I had to do it. It was like a whole mess. But yeah, so summary, if you're gonna watch the YouTube tutorial I watched, make sure to just skip to the part where he puts his motherboard in the PC after he's done building the motherboard. You will need a USB hard drive with at least 8 gigabytes of storage in order to download Windows onto your newly built PC. And if you need to install drivers, install drivers. You can usually find the drivers by looking at your motherboard's brand and then typing that into Safari or Google search. That's what I did, and I was able to get the drivers. I just took the USB hard drive that I had for the Windows and I just installed the drivers on that, because once you install Windows on your PC, you could just take the drive out. You don't need to keep it in there. So I deleted the Windows on that drive and then installed the drivers and then put it on my PC, and everything was good to go. I also strongly recommend getting an Ethernet cable, because if you don't have an Ethernet cable, then your Wi-Fi might run slow or poorly depending on what type of Wi-Fi you have and how strong it is. But yeah, those are little tips and tricks just so that way you don't struggle as much as I did. Now, enough of me yapping. It's time for the final reveal of what my PC looked like after all of this was said and done.
I was hanging with you and then I realized I didn't think it was true. I was surprised when I found out I'd fallen for you.